Hi everybody, welcome back to Almost 2 Acres. I'm Carol, and today we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics, creating a pollinator garden that will turn your backyard into a buzzing paradise.
Whether you've got a tiny balcony or a sprawling lawn, I'm going to show you exactly how to create a space that not only looks incredible, but actually makes a real difference for our struggling pollinator populations. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to get started. And trust me, once you see your first butterfly emerge or watch bees working your flowers, you'll be hooked just like I am. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a pollinator garden? Simply put, it's an intentionally designed space filled with plants that provide nectar, pollen, and habitat, specifically for pollinators like bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, beetles, and even bats.
But here's what makes it different than just any flower garden. We're thinking like the pollinators themselves. We're choosing plants based on what they want, not just what we think is pretty in our garden. Though honestly, when you design with pollinators in mind, the beauty just naturally follows.
Think of it as creating a restaurant and hotel all in one, providing the food they need to survive and thrive, plus places to nest, rest, and overwinter. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about this? Well, here's the thing you may not know yet. Pollinators are responsible for 1 out of every 3 bites of food we take. No pollinators, no apples, no almonds, no chocolate. The list goes on and on. But here's the scary part. We're losing them fast. Bee populations have declined by over 40% in recent years. Monarch butterfly populations have crashed by 80%, and habitat loss is the biggest culprit. But here's where you come in, and why I'm so passionate about this. Every single backyard pollinator garden creates a stepping stone, a safe haven, a refueling station for these incredible creatures. When we all do our part, we create corridors of habitat that can actually reverse this decline. You're not just making your yard prettier, you're literally helping save ecosystems. How amazing is that? All right, let's get practical. Where should you put your pollinator garden? The sweet spot is somewhere that gets at least 6 hours of direct sunlight. Pollinators are sun lovers, and most flowering plants need that energy to produce the nectar and pollen thereafter. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't have a big yard. Don't worry. I've seen incredible pollinator gardens in containers on apartment balconies, in narrow side streets, even those awkward strips between the sidewalk and the street. The key is picking a spot you can easily access for maintenance, and honestly, somewhere you'll actually see and enjoy your pollinators at work. There's nothing quite like having your morning coffee while watching the bees start their day. And if you're looking at a sea of grass thinking, where do I even start? Pick the area that gets the most sun and convert just a small section first. You can always expand later, and trust me, once you see the results, you'll want to. Now for the fun part, choosing plants. And here's my #1 rule. Native plants are your secret weapon. These are plants that evolved alongside your local pollinators, so they're the perfect match made by nature. Native plants need less water, fewer amendments, and they're exactly what your local bees and butterflies are looking for. Plus, they're adapted to your climate, so they're going to be way easier for you to grow successfully. Here's another big tip. Think variety. You want different flower shapes because different pollinators have different needs. Butterflies love flat, broad flowers they can land on, while bees prefer tubular shapes, and hummingbirds need deep, trumpet-shaped blooms. Color matters too. Bees see ultraviolet patterns we can't even detect, butterflies love bright reds and oranges, and many native bees are attracted to blues and purples. And here's the garden success tip. Plan for succession blooming. You want something flowering from early spring all the way through fall. Think of it like keeping the restaurant open all season long, not just for a few weeks in summer. Before we start digging, let's talk soil. Most native plants actually prefer lean, well-draining soil. They don't need the rich, amended soil you might use for vegetables. In fact, too much fertilizer can actually reduce flower production. Do a quick soil test. You can grab an inexpensive kit at any garden center. Most pollinator plants want neutral to slightly alkaline soil, but honestly, natives are pretty forgiving. For layout, it's a good idea to start on paper first. Group plants by height, tall ones in back, short ones in front if you've got a viewing side, but more importantly, group them in odd-numbered clusters. 3, 5, 7 plants of the same type together. It looks more natural and creates bigger targets for pollinators to spot. Don't plant them too close together. Give them room to grow. Overcrowded plants compete for resources and are more susceptible to disease. Time to get our hands dirty. If you're converting lawn, you've got options. You can remove the sod. It's work, but you get instant results. Or try sheet mulching. Lay cardboard over the grass, wet it down, and cover with compost and mulch. The grass dies, the cardboard breaks down, and you've built better soil in the process. Seeds versus plants. Both have their place. Seeds are way more affordable if you're doing a large area, and you'll often get better variety. But plants give you instant gratification and are more foolproof for beginners. If you're planting seedlings, dig holes just as deep as the root ball, but twice as wide. Backfill with the same soil you removed. Remember, natives don't want amended soil. Water them in well, but then back off. Most natives prefer it to dry out between waterings once established.
Plants are just part of the story. Let's create a complete habitat. Water is essential. It doesn't have to be fancy. A shallow bird bath, even a saucer with some rocks for landing spots will work perfectly. For nesting sites, think messy in the best way. A pile of logs, some larger rocks, even just leaving some bare ground. Many native bees are ground nesters and need these bare patches too.
Here's something most people don't know. About 30% of butterfly species overwinter as eggs or caterpillars on plant stems. So resist the urge to cut everything down in fall. Leave some areas messy through winter. I'm really good at that. The beauty of native plants is they're pretty low maintenance once established. Water deeply, but less frequently. This encourages deep root growth and drought tolerance. Deadhead spent blooms to encourage more flowers, but leave some seed heads. Many birds feed on native seeds, and you might get natural reseeding. Hear me on this, please. This is non-negotiable. No pesticides, period. Even organic ones can harm beneficial insects. Instead, embrace the fact that a healthy pollinator garden attracts beneficial predators that keep pest populations in check naturally. Trust me, after the first season, you'll see how beautifully balanced everything becomes. Planning for year-round interest keeps your garden working hard. Early spring blossoms like crocuses and wild lupine feed pollinators emerging from winter. Summer is peak season with echinacea, bee balm, and native asters. Fall asters and goldenrod provide crucial late-season fuel for migrating butterflies. And don't forget winter interest. Those seed heads aren't just practical, they're beautiful, covered in frost and snow. Let me show you an incredible garden from my area. Here is the pollinator garden at New Ulm, Minnesota that I found by chance while visiting that beautiful old city. It is a large and well cared for garden that no one should miss if they're in that area. Here's my own garden where I grow parsley every year for the swallowtails and let milkweed grow anywhere it wants, much to the chagrin of my garden tilling neighbor. The life and activity level have exploded. Here's where this gets really exciting. Imagine if several yards in your neighborhood had even a small pollinator garden. We'd create these amazing highways of habitat connecting larger wild spaces. Start conversations with your neighbors, share seeds and plants, maybe organize a neighborhood native plant swap. Some communities are even converting public spaces and school grounds. Don't forget to document your native journey. If you need information later, you'll have it at hand. Share your successes and even your failures in the comments below. Let's build a community of pollinator champions. Before you go, let me point you towards some fantastic resources. Your local extension office usually has native plant lists specific to your area. The Xerxes Society website is incredible for in-depth pollinator information. Check out local native plant societies. They often have sales, plant swaps, and tons of local knowledge. Many have beginner-friendly workshops too. And speaking of next steps, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. I'm thinking deep dives into specific plants, seasonal maintenance guides, maybe some troubleshooting common problems. Let me know. Creating a pollinator garden isn't just gardening, it's hope in action. Every flower you plant, every bee you support, every butterfly that visits is proof that individual actions can create collective change.
So start small. Start anywhere. But please, just start. Your local pollinators are counting on you. And honestly, I think you're going to fall as in love with taking care of them as I am. Thanks for joining me today on Almost 2 Acres, where I strive to keep learning and keep making a difference one garden at a time. Until next time, let's get growing.